1. Introduction. My name is Ginny. I am 27 years old. I work as a teacher in a quiet town. My life is very simple. Every morning I wake up early. I go to school and teach my students. After school, I come home. I live alone. My days are always the same, and I like this simple life. One morning, something big happened at our school. We received surprising news. A new person bought the school. His name is Henry. We heard he was a very rich man. He was also young, only 30 years old. Everyone talked about him. People said he was powerful and serious. Soon, Henry came to the school for the first time. All the teachers gathered in the office. We waited to meet him. When he walked in, everyone stopped talking. He looked very important. He wore a sharp suit and his face was serious. His eyes were cold like ice. He looked different from everyone else in our small town. He seemed like a man from a big city, a world far away from ours. He looked around the room slowly. His eyes went from one teacher to another. Then his eyes stopped on me. For a moment, our eyes met. It was a strange feeling. I felt something strong inside me. It was like fire and ice at the same time. His look was very intense. It was a moment I could not forget. I felt a mix of fear and curiosity. This was our first meeting, and it felt very important, like the start of something new. I knew then that my simple life was about to change. He stood there, tall and quiet, and his presence filled the room. The air felt heavy. He did not smile. He just looked at us, at all the teachers, with those cold, serious eyes. This new owner was very different. Everyone felt his power. His arrival changed the quiet school. It changed everything. I wondered what would happen next. This was just the beginning. 2. New rules. Henry started his changes very quickly. He called a meeting for all the teachers. He spoke about his new plans for the school. The plans were very strict. Teachers had to work longer hours every day. They could not take long breaks in the middle of the day. Also, some school holidays were canceled. All paperwork had to be perfect and on time. The atmosphere in the school changed fast. It was no longer a happy place to work. The other teachers were very unhappy. They whispered in the staff room during lunch. They complained loudly to each other about Henry. Some teachers even started to look for new jobs. Ginny felt the changes too. She missed the old school. She missed the easygoing feeling. But she did not complain. She believed in hard work. She also knew she needed her job. She watched Henry from a distance. He was always observing everyone. His cold eyes seemed to miss nothing. One evening, Ginny stayed late at school. The sun was going down, making the sky orange and purple. The classrooms were empty and quiet. Ginny was in her own classroom, marking student papers. She had many papers to finish before morning. The light from her small desk lamp shone on her work. Suddenly, she heard footsteps outside her classroom door. Her heart beat a little faster. It was Henry. He stood in the doorway. He was wearing a dark suit, as always. His face was serious. Ginny felt a little nervous. "Still here, Ginny?" Henry asked. His voice was calm and low. "Yes, Mr. Henry," she replied. "I have many papers to finish tonight." He walked slowly into the room. He stopped near her desk. "Other teachers often leave early," he said. "They complain about the work and the new rules." Ginny looked at her papers. She did not know what to say. She just worked hard. That was her way. "Why do you work so hard?" he asked. "Why are you different from the others?" His eyes looked deeply into hers. Ginny felt a strange feeling, like the first time she met him. It was a mix of fear and something else she could not name. Then Henry smiled. It was a small smile, not warm or friendly. It made her feel a little uneasy. "You are different, Ginny," he said again. He said it softly, almost a whisper. He did not say anything more. He just turned and walked away. Ginny watched him leave. The classroom was quiet once more. She looked at her papers, but she could not focus. His words stayed in her mind. "You are different." She wondered what he meant. She wondered if it was a good thing or a bad thing. The night felt longer after he left. She finished her work, but her thoughts were on Henry. His new rules had changed the school. Now, his words made her feel that something else was changing too. Her simple life felt less simple. 3. A secret starts. Henry started to visit Ginny's classroom often. He came many times each week. He always stood at the back, watching Ginny teach. His eyes were always on her. The students noticed Henry. They whispered about why he was always there. Ginny heard them. Her face felt warm, her heart beat fast each time he came. She tried to act normal, but it was hard with Henry watching. One afternoon, after the last lesson, the school office called Ginny. "Mr. Henry wants to see you," the voice said. Ginny felt worried. She walked slowly to his office. She wondered what he wanted. She knocked. "Come in," Henry's voice said. Ginny opened the door. Henry stood by his desk, holding red roses. He smiled. His smile was warm yet dangerous. "For you," he said, giving her the flowers. Ginny took them. They smelled sweet. "Thank you," she said. Henry looked at her. "Ginny," he began, "you are a good teacher. You are strong and different. I want to know you more." Ginny's cheeks got hot. She held the roses. "Mr. Henry," she said softly, "this is not right. I am your teacher. You are my boss. We cannot be together." Henry walked closer. He laughed softly. "Is that the only problem?" he asked. He looked into her eyes. "Then we will keep it a secret, Ginny," he whispered. "No one needs to know. It is our secret." Ginny did not answer. She looked at the roses, then at Henry's eyes. His words confused her. She knew it was wrong, but she felt excited. She left his office with the roses, thinking of his words. That night, she saw his dark eyes in her dreams. The secret had started. 4, his story, Ginny thought about Henry's invitation. She knew it was risky, but she also felt a pull towards him. She said yes to the secret dinner. They agreed to meet far from the school. It was important that no one saw them together. On the chosen evening, Ginny felt nervous. She drove to a quiet restaurant in another town. Henry was already there. He sat at a table in a corner. The lights were soft. He looked different without his strict work clothes. He wore a simple, dark shirt. He smiled a small, warm smile when she arrived. Ginny felt her heart beat a little faster. They talked about small things first. Then Henry started to tell his story. His voice was low. He grew up in a very poor family. His father left them when Henry was a young boy. His mother worked very hard. But she became sick and died when Henry was only a teenager. He had no one. He had to learn to take care of himself. Henry worked many jobs. He saved every penny. He studied late at night. He had big dreams. He wanted to be strong. He wanted to be rich. He wanted to make sure he would never be poor again. He worked harder than anyone. Slowly, he built his own company. It was not easy. He faced many problems, but he never gave up. He learned to be tough. He learned to trust only himself. "Love is a game," Henry said, looking at Ginny. His eyes were serious. "You win some, you lose some." Ginny listened quietly. His story made her feel sad for him, but she did not agree about love. "No," she said softly. "Love is not a game. It's real feelings. It's about caring for someone." Henry reached across the table. He took Ginny's hand. His touch was warm. "Then teach me," he said. His voice was almost a whisper. Ginny looked into his eyes. She saw a deep sadness there. She also saw a strong, lonely man. In that moment, Ginny knew. She was starting to fall for Henry. It was a dangerous feeling. She knew it could bring trouble. But she could not stop it. His story, his words, his touch, they were pulling her closer. She felt a strong connection to this complex man. She wanted to understand him more. She wanted to be the one to show him what real love could be. The secret felt heavy, but also exciting. She wondered what would happen next. 5, the school knows. People at school started to notice things. It began slowly, with small looks and quiet whispers. When Ginny walked in the hallways, she could feel eyes on her. Teachers would stop talking when she came near. Students would look at her, then at Henry, then back at her. Ginny felt a strange pressure. Her secret with Henry was not so secret anymore. She tried to act normal, but her heart beat faster every day. The whispers grew louder. One afternoon, a big event happened. Ginny was leaving school. Henry was waiting for her in his car. He wanted to talk for a moment. As Ginny got into his car, a student was walking out of the school gate. The student saw them clearly. The student's eyes grew wide. Ginny quickly said goodbye to Henry and got out of the car. She walked away quickly, but it was too late. The student had seen everything. The next day, everyone knew. The rumor spread through the school like wildfire. It was no longer a whisper, it was a loud conversation. Teachers talked in the staff room. Students talked in the classrooms. Ginny felt ashamed and worried. Her private life was now public. The principal called Ginny to her office. The principal looked serious. "Ginny," she said, "we have heard some things. Your connection with Mr. Henry is not professional. This is a school. We must follow rules." Ginny felt her face get hot. She tried to explain, but the words did not come out right. The principal told her to be careful. Henry, however, did not seem to care about the rumors or the principal's warning. He did something very bold. One morning, Ginny was teaching her literature class. The students were reading a poem. Suddenly, the classroom door opened. Henry stood there. He held a big bunch of red roses. Ginny's eyes opened wide. Her students stopped reading. They looked at Henry, then at Ginny. Henry walked slowly to Ginny's desk. He smiled at her. It was his dangerous smile. He gave her the roses. "For you, Ginny," he said loudly, so everyone could hear. Her heart shook inside her. She felt many things at once: surprise, embarrassment, and a strange happiness. Her students started to clap their hands. They thought it was romantic. But Ginny knew it was very bad for her job. She looked at Henry, but he just smiled. After that day, the school decided Ginny was unprofessional. The administration held a meeting. They said her actions were not right for a teacher. They said she broke the school's rules. They made a plan to fire her. Ginny felt very scared. She loved her job. Now she might lose everything. The future looked dark. 6. A bad surprise. Ginny felt very worried after the principal's warning. She knew her job was in danger. She thought about Henry. He was the owner. He could help her. With a heavy heart, she went to his office. She explained the situation, her voice shaking a little. She asked him to speak for her, to save her teaching position. Henry listened carefully. He looked into her eyes. He said, "Ginny, do not worry. I will take care of it. You will not lose your job." His words were a small comfort. She left his office feeling a little hope. Days passed, but nothing changed. The school still planned to fire her. Then a terrible rumor started. It was not just a whisper. It was loud and clear. Mrs. Davis, another teacher, looked very sad one afternoon. She told Ginny the truth. Henry did not want to save the school. He wanted to close it down. He bought the school only to sell the land later. The scandal, Ginny's relationship with Henry, was just a part of his plan. He used it as an excuse to make the school look bad. Then he could close it more easily. Ginny felt a cold shock. Her mind could not understand these words. Her heart felt like it was breaking into many pieces. Every kind word Henry had said, every secret smile, every rose felt like a lie now. He had used her. He had used her feelings. A deep anger mixed with her sadness. She had to see him. She had to ask him if it was true. She walked quickly to Henry's office. Her legs felt heavy, but her anger pushed her forward. She did not knock. She just opened the door. Henry was inside. He was not alone. A woman was sitting on the sofa next to him. She had long, dark hair and a beautiful dress. Henry looked up, surprised to see Ginny. The woman also looked at her with curious eyes. "Ginny," Henry said, his voice calm, as if nothing was wrong. "This is Anya. She is my ex-wife." Ginny's breath caught in her throat. Ex-wife. He had never mentioned her. Then Henry added, "We are getting married again next month. We just finished planning." The world seemed to spin around Ginny. The words hit her like a strong wave. All the promises, all the stolen moments, all the feelings she had for him crashed down. It was all a game for him. She was just a tool in his plan. She could not speak. She could not even cry yet. She felt a terrible emptiness. Without another word, Ginny turned around. She ran out of the office. She ran through the school halls, past the empty classrooms. Outside, the sky was gray. Rain started to fall, big, cold drops. They fell on her face, mixing with silent tears. She ran and ran, but she could not run away from the pain. Her heart was not just broken, it felt completely empty. 7, the last day. Ginny decided to leave the school. It was her last day. She woke up early, feeling sad but also strong. She walked to school for the last time. The air felt different. In her classroom, she looked at the empty desks. She loved teaching here. She wrote the word goodbye on the whiteboard. It was a very hard word to write. Her students came in, one by one. They knew it was her last day at the school. Some of them cried softly. Ginny felt tears in her own eyes, but she tried to be strong for them. She taught her last lesson about stories and new beginnings. She spoke about hope and courage. The final bell rang loudly. It was the end of the school day and the end of her time here. Ginny began to pack her few remaining books and papers. Suddenly, the classroom door opened slowly. It was Henry. He looked very different today, not cold, not strong like before. He looked tired and sad. His expensive suit seemed loose on him. He walked slowly closer to her desk, his eyes on her face. "Ginny," he said. His voice was quiet, almost a whisper. "I stopped it," he told her. "The school will not close now." Ginny looked at him, her expression calm. She felt no anger, only a quiet certainty. "And the wedding," Henry continued, his voice lower. "I did not marry her. It is over. Everything with her is finished." He looked directly into her eyes, his own eyes full of pain. "I only want you, Ginny. I made a mistake, a very big mistake." He reached out his hand, but he did not touch her. It hung in the air between them. Ginny felt many things, a little surprise, a touch of old hurt, but mostly a new, quiet strength. She took a deep breath. "Henry," she said. Her voice was clear and steady. It is too late for us. Henry looked down at his feet. No, Ginny, please. We can start again. I will make things right. My life is more than this now, she explained. More than secrets and games. More than just a love story that caused so much pain. She remembered the whispers, the rumors, the plan to close the school. She remembered seeing him with the other woman, his words about marriage. She picked up her bag. It felt light now, with only a few personal things inside. She looked at Henry one last time. His eyes were still full of sadness. "Goodbye, Henry," she said. She walked past him towards the classroom door. She did not look back. She walked out of the school building into the soft evening light. The old school was quiet behind her. Her old life was truly over. She felt ready for something new, something honest and real. Her heart was healing. She knew she had made the correct choice. She was finally free. 8, a new start. Months passed quickly. Ginny now lived in a new city, far from her old life. The city was bigger, with tall buildings and many people. She found a job at a different school. It was a smaller school, but the students were kind. Her classroom had bright windows and the air felt fresh. Every morning, Ginny woke up early. She made a cup of hot coffee and looked out her window. She felt a quiet peace. This new life was calm. There was no drama, no secrets, and no difficult boss. She liked her new colleagues. They often shared lunch and talked about their classes. Ginny felt like she could finally breathe again. She enjoyed teaching literature to her new students. They listened carefully to her stories and ideas. One sunny afternoon, Ginny finished her classes. She walked to her mailbox. There was a letter. It was a thick envelope, and the writing on it was familiar. Her heart beat a little faster. It was from Henry. She had not heard from him since her last day at the old school. She remembered his face, sad and lost, as she walked away. She remembered his words, too. He had said he wanted her. She had thought it was too late. Ginny opened the letter slowly. Inside, there was a long message. Henry wrote about his time after she left. He said he had thought about her every day. He wrote that he had sold his old company. Then he had bought a new building. He had worked very hard. He wanted to build something new, something good. He had opened a new school. Then Ginny read the next part. Her eyes widened. The letter said, "This new school has your name on it. It is called the Ginny Academy. It is a school for good teachers and happy students. I made it for you. Come if you want. Your classroom is waiting." Ginny held the letter in her hands. She walked to her window and looked at the city below. A small smile appeared on her face. She thought about everything. The past was full of pain and confusion, but now there was something new. Henry had done something big. He had changed. He had listened to her. He remembered her words, "My life is more than love." He remembered she was a teacher. Ginny did not know what to do next. Would she go back? Would she see Henry again? She closed her eyes. Her future was unknown. But for the first time in a long time, she felt happy. She was a teacher, and she would always be a teacher. This new letter, this new school, it was a new start. It was a choice. She could choose her own path. She could choose her own future. She felt a lightness in her heart. The possibilities stretched before her, bright and clear. She took a deep breath. She knew one thing for sure: she was ready for whatever came next.
Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.